All right, so we didn't have a whole lot of time in class today, but I do want to have some opportunity for you to get a little bit of help on the homework for what I'm asking for before our next class meeting. So here's homework help, Module 1, which is APA formatting, Lesson 1, which will be going over manuscript elements during the next class meeting. All right, so learning objectives. I always use learning objectives, and there's different levels of learning objectives. So in parentheses is that echelon of comprehension, or in this case, evaluation or analysis. So they are easy to hard, and so I try to vary the easy ones to the more difficult ones because I want you to have a full knowledge of what we're doing. So the first one, recognize that formatting guides help keep things uniform across disciplines. Defend the use of formatting guides in science publications. Identify manuscript guides or instructions to authors on the internet, and then compare and contrast different manuscripts, formatting guides, or instructions to authors. That last one is one that we'll mainly do in class, and this homework is kind of helping you prepare for all four of these learning objectives. So I want you to take a look at the assignment. So I'm just going to pull it up real quick. So here is the Module 1, Lesson 1 homework. And so here is what we're asking of you. Why are formatting guides important? Oops. Why are formatting guides important in writing and publishing science publications? And then find one manuscript guide or instructions to author for the research publications and bring it to class. So on this one, I want you to take a moment and read that web resource that I posted on WT Class, especially on this idea of how formatting can help both the reader and the scientist who's writing this research. Because their intent is to communicate their research to a broad audience or a large audience. And people in the same discipline need a little bit of help and need to find information as quickly as possible. So keep that in mind. I'm going to pull up WT Class one more time. So it's this web link right here. Why is APA style needed? So like I said, you can pause this video if you want, but take a moment to take a look at that. I think it's going to be pretty helpful. All right. So what is a peer-reviewed journal? What is this? When we say that, and you're going to hear it a lot, we need to be sure that you have a strong foundation of what that means. Typically, it's science-based, and that means that there's been some element of research put into the results. And the methodology uses the scientific method for discovery. A peer-reviewed journal is a place for researchers to communicate their findings to some other people in a similar discipline. And so whenever I say discipline, that could be, we'll take the equine industry, for example. So let's say that you are a vet, you specialize in the equine industry. There's probably some type of journal out there. So your discipline are other vets or other scientists that specialize in the equine industry. So think of a peer-reviewed journal. Different disciplines have kind of their own journal. This is an opportunity for other researchers in the same discipline to also review the science presented in the paper for accuracy and especially rigor. And so when we talk about rigor, it's kind of like, did this person do their due diligence? Did they do everything right? Is this sound science? And so if I'm a researcher, I've done a research project. I write up all of my findings into a paper, and then I submit it to my discipline's peer-reviewed journal. The peer review process is where a selected number of people in that same industry or in that same field, who are well thought of, typically, or people that have been in that industry for a long time and kind of been vetted, will then read my article. They'll read my science and make that decision. Did he is this rigorous? Did he do things that align with our industry, the way we do things? Is the science sound? And if they agree, then it will be moved on and be published in that journal. If not, then they'll deny it, and that researcher is kind of back to the drawing board on and addressing some of the things that the reviewers might have mentioned. So the idea is that it meets some type of standard, and typically we like to think that it's good science and it's something that we can kind of hang our hat on or use when we're trying to make decisions. All right, so searching. Typically, most disciplines have a journal. Whatever discipline it is, you can almost just always put the word journal when you're searching in like Google, and something will pop up. So just do a Google search. I'm going to do one right now. So if I do agricultural education journal, so Journal of Ag Education pops up. And so that is a peer-reviewed journal. So pretty, there's a lot of journals out there. And most of them are peer-reviewed, some of them aren't. So you kind of need to do a little bit of digging to be sure that what you're looking for is in fact peer-reviewed. But here are all the different articles that have been published. And so you can kind of look at those. But the next step, if we go back to is finishing the assignment. So now you need to look for the instructions to author or the formatting guide for the journal. Don't forget to save it and bring it to class, or you can print it out, either way. But like I showed in class briefly, the Journal of Animal Science, instructions to authors, brings up a PDF of the instructions for authors, and it lists out the style and the form, and tries to be as comprehensive as possible on what on the instructions to how a researcher needs to create their research journal article before they submit it. All right, so I hope this was helpful. Be sure to utilize all the resources on WT Class, and let me know if you have any problems or questions.